everybody, and welcome to another edition of Average Superstar TV. I'm your host, Lauren Lepre, and I know what everyone's been saying. Hey, Lauren, it's been a minute. It's been like 6 weeks to 2 months, but I'm here filling in everyone right now. I've been kind of keeping it quiet, but I did just film a follow-up to The Dark Military. I just did a film over the summer called The Dark Military Rogue, which takes place between part 1 and part 2. So stay tuned for that and a lot of details. But yes, the podcast is back, and I'm going to be firing out shows. And I was just saying earlier before I hit record here, this is my first repeat guest I've ever had. Yes, this is show number 69 or 70. But this is a guest I have high respect for because we come from two different worlds. I come from film. She comes from music. But I know when someone's a grinder. I know when someone's all heart. I totally know this girl is one of them. She's much like me where things don't move fast enough. She hasn't put a lot of trust in a lot of people. She has to do it herself. And it's not, she's going to bulldoze right over you. And she reminds me a little bit of myself with that. And that's why I like her so much. Her album Showing Up this is her first year anniversary of her album. She wants to talk about that, and she's got a lot going on in this world. This girl's a hardworking music artist hailing down currently in Nashville. So with that long intro, ALYSSA JACEY, welcome back to the show.
That's a killer intro. You can't freaking pay someone to do a better job than that. That's amazing. Thank you, Lauren. Wow. Thank you so much. It was to be seen and expressed from another artist, from one person to another. Genuinely, that means so much to me. And you can never really hear that enough, because I don't know if you feel this way. As confident as we might be from time to time, we also are human, and it's just nice to have that reminder of, hey, you're doing really well, and I can tell that you're working your ass off. And so thank you for that.
You're very welcome on that. And I know what you're saying back at me, because I get it. I'm one of them. I'm bulletproof, and I'm going forward, and nothing's going to stop me. But like, it's weird because sometimes you hear the negatives more than the positives. So when you hear that positive, and someone sees you the way you want to be seen. I'm not so much about the world has to like me, but I really like when someone shows the respect of my hard work ethic, and that is what I see in you. And that's what drew me to you. I was like, yeah, I'm going to check this girl out. And like, you're constantly going because I see it. I was like, there she is. She's off going again. There she is. I mean, so you have quite a resume, and you've been doing this a real long time. And I know this anniversary of this album like means a lot to you. That's why you're going on shows. And, so, I mean, tell us what's been like the last year and like why you're rehyping this album, because I know you're always working on something new.
Yes, thank you for asking that. So first of all, thank you for having me as a repeat guest, as the very first repeat guest. It just means so much to me. And being able to talk about this album, it's 11 months old. So on October 10th, it'll have its birthday. It's 1-year birthday. It was my 10th year in Nashville, living in Nashville last year. Released it on October 10th, and it's my 10th album, and it means more than any other album. Every album and release that I've done, they all have their particular meanings, I suppose. But this was kind of it was a catalyst for me. I was reaching a point in my career where I felt like I was struggling pretty hard, and I wasn't quite sure what I needed to do in order to find that spark again and that love with music. You hear that with people in the acting world that you're in, and with music as well. You burn out.
Yep.
But it hadn't happened to me yet, because I hear that story with other people. And while you have your ups and downs days, I've never really found myself like, what do I do next? And I did just before last year. And so I said, I'm going to put this album together and approach my fans with a GoFundMe. And I had told everyone that if this album does what I really think it's going to do, then you're going to see a lot more of me if it doesn't do what I'm hoping it's going to do, then I'm going to put music as a backseat and pursue my other passions, such as choreographing for music videos for other friends, or the career coaching for other artists that I so love to do, and my public speaking, motivational speaking, things like that. And I got to put this album together thanks to you, the fans who donated for my GoFundMe. And it's just been, I'm just like in amazement at where it's gotten and where it's going, and how it's helped me, and who it's connected me with. I'm just so thankful to have been able to put it out, because I couldn't have done it without the fans' help.
Lots to unpack what you just said there. I liked everything you say, and I could totally relate to you about, you did 10 albums. What more do I have to do? You know, and how much. But I get it. Same thing with like film and all that. And I've always told everybody, like, I do film full time on top of having a day job, because I can't risk falling behind in life. I've watched not just actors, but people in music or any walks of life that they put their passion forward, but like they're financially, they're in some horrible hell. You know, some of them are still living home and stuff. I'm just like, I can't do that. So I'm kind of like trying to keep the water turning over here and saying like, all right, you better, that's where the words average superstar come, by the way. You know, I kind of live in that average, that superstar lifestyle where I know a lot of people in music. I know a lot of people in film. I've done so much cool stuff between wrestling, but at the same time, every Monday morning, you're back to being an average guy. And people wonder why I stay quiet at work, because there's like, I don't really have much to talk to you about. I'm sorry.
I really like that, where the definition and the story behind average superstar.
Yeah, that's really where it came from, because it's kind of like I have my moments of glory, and then boom, you're right back to being like an average dude, like the average Joe the next day. But I kind of like that one fist on the gutter, one fist in the gold sort of thing. I just wish I could make it as a film guy and not forget that part of me, and know you finally got over the hump. But so I get you, but I think it's really awesome that you established enough of a fan base that got you your album. And I think that shows to me that like you're doing good. You might not be, that catapult where you're really trying to go, but the simple fact that your music's touching people enough, that says a lot.
But it's, for example, I just showcased for the very first time. For those of you watching who don't know what a showcase is, I didn't either. But thanks to my manager, I got to, it's kind of an audition of sorts where you get 15 minutes to be everything you are. Like, put your whole show into this 15-minute little ball, show your personality, but don't be too much of a ham. Talk, but don't talk too much, because you're going to run out of time. Pick the perfect songs, one upbeat, one mid-tempo, one ballad. Tell the story, but don't give us the full story, and make sure you dress the part. And there's so many things you have to remember in this little tiny time frame. And you're on stage, you do it, you're gone, and the next break, it's just this circle of all of us auditioning, so to speak, in front of talent buyers. Talent buyers are people who will book you for a cruise line, or as an opening act for their arena show. I had no idea that there is actually a market for what the combination that I love, which is motivational speaking and performing a concert. And I've done this inspirational talk in Ireland several times, in Sweden several times, and a few times here in the US on different topics, all under the umbrella of inspiration. And how do you go from not knowing that you have this talent, and in your mid-20s or early to mid-20s find out that you can sing and play music, and how do you turn that into a full-time career later on in life? And it's amazing that this, in front of these talent buyers, they are looking for people like me who do motivational speaking, inspirational things like that, as well as perform concerts. And that's a freaking dream for me. That's exactly what I want to do. I would love to tour the world, being able to inspire others to pursue their dreams, as well as share my music with everyone. And that's on the horizon for me, thanks to this showcase.
Beautiful. Well, that It's funny you say that showcase. That's it's like almost like an acting reel to an actor where you're trying to like show your all. Don't just you have to show different action beats. Show you can be a comedy guy. You show me you can be a drama. You know action. You know, give your bet. Put your best self forward because yeah, I like that. 15 minutes to tell your giant story. Hey, come on, you know.
And I meant sorry, and I meant thank you for you kind of reminded me just now. The reason why I said that is because after I got off stage at my first showcase, I was approached by an agent, and she looked me in the eyes and gave me about a 4-minute length of compliments that I have not heard strung together in that way ever before. People will say like, "Oh, I really love your voice," or "Your song made me feel this way," or and no compliment I ever get is not big enough. Any little thing that anyone tells me that they appreciate about my style, my voice, my lyrics, my songs, anything is so absolutely deeply appreciated. And I pinch myself every time someone does compliment me on TikTok or in person, such as your opening statement, because I'm like, man, I can't believe people are seeing this from me and sharing it and expressing it. And this woman, the way that she described, she never met me before. She'd never seen me perform before. And just for those 15 minutes, it's 4 songs, 15 minutes, she got everything about who I am, what my purpose is to inspire others. And I'm just like, she just rattled all this stuff off and I cried because I put so many of my eggs into that basket, kind of like this is a do or die situation for me. If I do not nail these showcases, I don't even know what I'm going to do. And which is not the right attitude to have, but I put a lot of pressure on myself because I want to succeed. And the next thing I know, someone else comes up to me and says very similar things to what she said. And then the next day, people who saw me the night before, who I had no idea were even in the room, said the same, like similar things. I'm like, wow, this is amazing. This is incredible. And the same thing happened with my second showcase. And this all of a sudden, just this grouping of people, individual of each other, saying similar things. And I'm like, man, I am doing what I'm supposed to be doing. This is affirmation after affirmation. And I want everyone, such as anyone who's watching this, and Lauren can attest to this, that we love what we do. But when you share with us that you recognize that you know that we're doing the right thing, it's an affirmation for us. And it's just, we are so thankful for every single one of you who keep us going like that.
Absolutely. And the reason you got those compliments because you're actually touching people. You're doing the right thing. And, you know, this people see real. That's one thing in life. People just know when someone's real. And you, like I said, again, you earned everything that's coming your way.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
And that's to be receiving of this kind of stuff. But I really want to change my attitude when someone says you deserve it. I want to say, it's like you're right. Like, you know, I don't want to over the top.
I get it. Yeah.
Right.
You have to find that balance of being like humble versus you want to beat your chest a second. Be like,
I know.
You know.
I will say I will never. I don't think I can ever be that top of the mountain, beat my chest person. But I will say this: after this showcase, I have never been more. I've never been more proud of myself. There are certain accomplishments I've done, and I'm good job self, but this was so much pressure. I can't even explain to anyone. I'm watching TikTok over here, by the way. If you see me, my eyes go like this. It's
okay.
But
I was wondering. I didn't know if your management has cue cards or something.
You will never, ever, no, off the cuff always. And I pray to God I never have to read cue cards. And if I do, hopefully it's for a commercial or something. But Bay and I were just talking about that on his podcast, that I don't like to, or no, was I was talking to TikTok in between podcasts, that I don't like to repeat myself. So I don't like to share the same stories over and over again. If I can, I try to keep every show as fresh and as different as possible. So I don't even like to use set lists. I just, whatever kind of comes to my head, just comes out. But
I dig it. I dig everything you're doing and all that. So how is there's another great question for you. The area, you've been in Nashville 10 years now?
I am approaching 12 in January.
Wow. So everybody knows it's like the music capital of the United States. Could you just tell us, like, briefly what's going on there now?
Oh my God. Okay. So there are roughly 100 people moving to Nashville on a daily basis. It's growing tremendously rapidly, far faster than what the city can handle. But at the same time, I think a lot of us are excited about it, watching the city expand. It's frustrating with all the traffic and all the rent is going up and the mortgages are going up. Hi. And everything is raising.
The cost of living's just going to keep going up there. Yep.
Right. The cost of living. I mean, Nashville used to be this cute little, it's still kind of quaint, but it's a big city now. It's a much bigger city than it's ever been. The skyline has tripled, and but it's just it is pretty cool to have been here as it started doing that, and to see what it kind of was before and what it's becoming. And it's fun to see the new venues pop up, and there's just so much talent. There's so much talent here. 65,000 artists in Nashville that I'm aware of. That's a number I was told yesterday, at least, and which I feel like there'd be a lot more than that, but around 65,000 artists doing what I do,
and lots of diversity. Because I'll never forget when I first got to Nashville. It was like a Sunday morning at 10:30, and I was like, my schedule just didn't work out, and I'm like, what am I gonna do in that? Like the city's not gonna come alive till night. And I started walking down the street. I'm like, there's a band playing, and then I walk up to there's a store, then another venue. There's a band playing, but it's a different and I was like, oh my God, it's 10:30 on a Sunday morning. And I'm like, there's 20 shows I could just walk into right now. I was like, wow.
When I moved here, I played at a clothing store where Carrie Underwood walked in. I've been asked if someone famous has ever seen me perform. And outside of the people that I've opened for, I maybe there have been other people, but I saw her shop in this Two Old Hippies is this clothing store in the Gulch. And I'm like, man, to play in a clothing store, you got to be in Nashville. And I'm like, one day, I bet there's going to be live music in a gas station. And we're not there yet, but we have live music at Taco Bell now.
Wow.
And I've been here. And my first thought was, Taco Bell? Of all the fast food chains, Taco Bell is gonna have live music, but it's a beautiful stage and it has killer sound, and the people who work there are awesome. And the groups of people that come into this particular location, they're all so freaking cool. Whereas certain locations and certain venues attract certain kind of drinkers and certain kinds of people. And it's actually been incredibly enjoyable. The 2 out of 2 times I played at the local Taco Bell on 2nd Avenue.
Wait. So if you had any advice for a new artist, like jumping into music with all your experience, what's like, this video is being filmed now in 2023, so this might be dated 10 years from now. But what would you say is like the current plan of attack?
My personal, what I'm about to say, I don't think will ever be outdated, because we always, no matter what, it starts with you. If you don't believe in yourself, no one else is going to believe in you. So I feel like that's a statement that can stand the test of time. And I think that can go alongside not just music, but with anything you put yourself in front of, or anything you want to do in your life. It's all about, it just starts here. And it's so important to not only believe in yourself, number one, but number two, be relentless. You're going to have a lot of doors slammed in your face. So many no's, more no's than yeses, more than likely. And that's okay. No's are really great to hear, because it just means a yes is down the road waiting for you. To continue, never feel like you've reached a point where you don't need to practice anymore. Constant writing, constant performing, constant booking, networking, working on your brand, and just trying to better yourself than you did the last song and the last show. You're only as good as your last song. You're only as good as your last show. So I hope that I don't want to go too much further, because there's a lot of things I could say, but just to summarize, definitely believing in yourself and being relentless and never giving up.
No, I'm right with you on that. That's for starters, because you also know no matter what your plan is, the wave could change, and you have to kind of go in the other direction of it. It's crazy how film and music just change at a drop of a dime.
Yeah, absolutely. Being able to kind of flow with the change as well. There's so much change in Nashville, and the venues are closing and opening at any given moment. And because of the influx of artists, and they're so damn talented, there's more competition now than there ever has been. I'm still kind of struggling / fighting to find more venues to perform at now, because I had my residencies and now they're no longer. And I had these certain venues I played at, and most of them are no longer. And there might be many reasons as to why the answers to those things are, but I'm at a place now where I'm kind of starting from scratch again, looking for other venues to perform at and find residencies again. But being able to be flexible and move with the time, I guess, is a good attitude to have as well.
Yeah. So when you're the album that you're pushing here, the Showing Up.
Yes.
So you're a year in, and curious, I'm sure you probably have, like, maybe when you made it, a particular song that was your favorite, but a year later, has that changed?
So October 10th is the 1-year anniversary of Showing Up. And I would like to say that the song I was the most excited for people to listen to when the album released, and this was tough because this particular album, I can look back at some of my other ones, and you have your favorites, and you're like, okay, maybe some of these could be fillers. This album, I couldn't be more specific and intentional with the songs that I chose. And See Me Cry, the opening track 1, See Me Cry was the song I was most excited for people to hear, because I feel like the recording really captured the best tones of my voice, and you don't often get that. I got to play percussion on it. I co-produced everything. I was like very, very, very intricately involved in the production of all the songs, the co-production and the production of all the songs. With this particular one, I'm so proud of the rap. There's a very, very fast speaking, long rap instead of a bridge. And I just love the message behind it. It's positive, but it's also kind of haunting. And I have this like kind of cry a little bit in my voice, but I'm also very confident. And there are some hidden messages in there, especially with the rap. So with that song, it's like, oh yes, world. It was my first single that I released for the album. And a year later, it's still absolutely one of my favorites. But because there are so many different genres and they each have such a unique and specific story to them, Love Is All You Need is probably forever and always going to be one of my favorite songs I've ever written.
Another reason it changes is because you change, you evolve a lot.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, I could still say See Me Cry is up there for sure. I really like Love Doesn't Love, because that percussion that you hear for that song, while we do have actual shakers, tambourines, and a drum kit, I also created a lot of that rhythmic stuff with my face. So I'm beatboxing, I'm doing that kind of stuff with my tongue, which you can hear in the song very clearly. I'm smacking my face, I'm smacking my thighs. If I could get my hard drive to actually work and not fail, all the footage from recording this album is on there, and I could show you guys more behind the scenes, which I had planned on doing over the last month, but my hard drive is being a little bit of a brat. So
well, you got to get that fixed. We want to watch you beat yourself up.
I dropped it off today, and I have every finger and toe and eye crossed that it'll get fixed, but I'll know in a week.
It leads me to my next question, and I'm more anticipating this one because, again, as I said at the start of the podcast, I see a lot of myself in you because I know how hard your worker you are. For me, being a guy, when I jumped into film, for the first 2 years, I just went wherever someone was doing a project and I trusted them.
Yeah.
And sometimes the projects came out horrible. Some of them didn't come out at all. And then eventually I took the ball. And before I know it, I'm running networking events. I'm running film festivals. And I just noticed when there's a group of people, if there's more than one, that's a crowd. If someone owns half of the movie and put some money in, and the other and them two don't get along, that movie never see the light of day because it's two egos crashing. So I, much like yourself, I am known as a lone wolf. I don't trust people. People always say, "Hey, Lord, I like to come aboard." I'm just like, that's fine. I'm fully in charge. I have the final say. They're like, so you just took a chance recently, and you actually got yourself a manager.
Yes. Well,
how did you find this in your soul to not be staring at the person when they're like, like I dissect everybody I encounter in film. Like I'm just like I'm Googling their name. I'm looking for because it's hard. It's a business. It's like music where it's hard to have any trust or even friends in it. So, what made you take a chance with this? And top it all off, that a little more than that. I know you're a bulldozer like me, and I think I hate when I ever have to let someone drive a car. You know, like I have to drive everything. So if you're not moving fast enough, I'm going to yank you out of the car, and I'm going to drive it myself.
I love that. This particular manager found me as the other. I had a few others approach me over the years, and I gave them a chance to show me what they could do. And, you know, we've so many experiences that we both share. If you want something done right, you got to do it yourself. And I'm going to backtrack real quick, and then I'm going to piggyback on that statement, and then I'll answer your question. Thank you. And many people don't know this. So for those of you who are listening, watching, I did not want to play guitar. When I started singing, I was in my early to mid 20s, and I started songwriting, and I had 0% of an intention to play an instrument. I just wanted to sing and write. And I got flaked on, canceled on. These guitar players would show up late to practice, unrehearsed. So 8 guitar players in, where it just wasn't working because they're, again, showing up late, not prepared, whatever. I'm like, that's it. I got to learn how to play guitar. Got a guitar, taught myself. I've been self-taught ever since. You
yanked them out of the car and started driving yourself.
I yanked them out of the car, and I was like, pedal to the metal, let's go.
Yeah.
So they'll really, I have all of them to thank, because I am really grateful that I can play guitar. And I wouldn't have done that had I, thank you. I wouldn't have done that had I not gotten flaked on or connected with these unprofessional musicians. So thank you guys. So fast forward to your question, which was, how did I get involved with this manager, and how do I let go of the reins? So my brother and my mom were at the rock and roll fantasy camp. It wasn't like an expo. I forget what it was. There was something to do with rock and roll fantasy camp. The owner creator, David Fishoff, and my brother had become friends because my brother's been in rock and roll fantasy camp now for like 8 or 9 years. And so they kind of befriended each other. And my mom was with my brother talking to David, and then up walks David Bellenzon, my soon-to-be manager. And once he announces in the conversation, I guess, like, oh, I'm in music, I'm a manager. And my mom, just being the mommy that she is, the super supporter mom that I have, she's like, my little girl, she's an artist and she's a singer, and you should check her out. And how many times do you hear, Lauren, and I can say this for myself as well, how many times do you hear, I've got this reel, my son's an actor, can you take a look at the reel? And
yeah,
he's so great, she's so great, right? And imagine how many
get in line, you know.
Yeah, right. Right. And imagine how many mothers probably go up to people like David and say,
Mhm.
"Oh, my daughter this, my son that." And it's just like, good Lord, sure, lady. Like, I'm sure she's so great
Yeah.
in her bathroom or in the car.
Or Lauren, I have an idea for a movie. It only cost $100,000, and I'm always like, "Well, that's great. Don't you think if I could just get $100,000, I'd make my own?" Yeah. And then they get mad at you, like, "Well, I was just asking." Well, come on, common sense.
Like common sense, dude, for sure. So David Bellinson was so sweet that he actually was like, okay, this woman seems to be pretty adamant about her daughter being good, so I will look at her stuff and I will let you know if you can give her my number. And through whatever research he needed to do, I know he checked out my website and went on Google and did his research, and it's like, okay, yeah, let's talk. Give her my number and we'll see how our conversation goes. And as I was saying in my interview previously, this first conversation with him was, I'll never forget it. It was absolutely magical because you don't get to just work with anyone, and everyone's personalities are different. And you really have to have someone, if you're going to work with someone like a manager, they have to be in your corner. They have to believe in you as much as, if not more than you do yourself. They have to want to go to bat for you. And again, I say this, they have to think that you have something to offer the world and them to work with you, and they have to believe in you. And so he told me that from my past, he's like, I see this from your past, I see this from where you are right now, and I believe that you're probably wanting to maybe do this with your future. And I was like, holy crap, did you just get in my head? Because I could not have said that better myself. He nailed exactly where I feel like I've been, the struggles of what's kept me from moving forward, the positive, great things that are happening, and what I want to do in my future. He just said it. And I was like, okay, that right away was just a really wonderful feeling. And then to see him follow through with the things that he said he was going to do, that's so rare in our industry, to meet people who actually follow through with their promises. And it's so flaky, the industries that we're in.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Well, I mean, if the dude put money into you too, I mean, he has something to lose, so that has to count for something.
Who put money into me?
No, but there's the manager's trying to put money into you somehow, right? Like that, he's trying to obviously get something out of it through your talent and all that, right? So everybody wins. So if he's got to do the right thing, or he doesn't come out on top either, right?
Well, yeah. So let's clarify that, because I don't want people thinking like he doesn't put money into my career whatsoever. But I think what I was saying, for those of you probably wondering, his goal is to make me more money, and so he can make money.
Yes.
Now I'm not making shit, and like it means. So at the moment, I'm just kind of still trying to work on getting these bigger shows with his assistance, and getting my name out there and all those things. So but yeah, no, he doesn't put any money at all, not a dime, not a penny, into what I do.
Gotcha. But he's the contact guy that's trying to get you to those venues to do so.
Correct. And we're the showcase that I did was in front of this talent buyers. So we need a booking agency still. I still need to be signed to a booking agency. I don't have that yet. And these talent buyers, there's so much interest, and these conversations that were had with my manager a week ago in Indianapolis, with me and with him as well. The summer to fall of next year is when a lot of the things that just were discussed as should come to fruition. But I don't want to be specific because no contracts are signed yet. I have to wait till next year. But I'm like you, I want everything to be done yesterday. So I'm just I'm over here going like, God, I can't freaking wait for 1 year from now. It's gonna be so different. But but every year is different. Every single year that I've been in the industry has been better than the last. And that's really how it needs to be if you're going to be moving forward, right?
Yes. So the last album, your fans helped you get that done through crowdfunding. Mm-hmm. So the other albums, 1 through 9 that you previously did, is that all 100% out of your pocket? Like you that's just super kudos. Also, I also know the utterable hell of those taking on those bills if you're not getting it back. I know my previous film, The Dark Military, those bills chased me for 4 years.
Oh God, I can't even.
But you love it. But you every month you get reminded once with that one big bill. You're just like, yeah. And then people are like, I want to see your movie. You're like, oh, well, you could rent it over here. Like, well, when's it coming on free for Netflix? You're just like,
You mother, yeah.
Yeah, like you're in. I get they really want to watch it, but like you're insulting me. You're basically saying I'll watch your movie, but I'm not paying a dime for it. You know.
I hear that a lot. I hear people going like, "Oh yeah, I'll come to your show. Can you put me on the list?" I'm like, I don't even freaking know you. I'm at the grocery store. Oh, you play music, and they're just ringing up your stuff. And I'm like, yeah, like, oh, I have a show at City Winery. Cool, put me on the list. I'm sorry, what's your name?
Yeah.
Nice to have met you over the last 47 seconds. Sure, I'll put you on the list. And to be fair, yes, Eric's like 9 albums sold where. So let me announce really quick. I Want It to Rain, the pop version, which came out in 2016 or 15.
My favorite song by you.
Is it really?
Yeah. I didn't. Plus, I just really like the video because it's like good production. Just like, we're gonna still put a lot into it. Like
that was crowdfunded. So that music video and that song recording, crowdfunded. Okay. And then this album was crowdfunded. Everything else, all the other singles, all the other albums, EPs, LPs, all self-funded, which is why I can't afford shit anymore. But I'm working on it. So to answer your question, there are a handful of songs that are still out online where you can stream and download. I have taken down many of my old albums and singles. So the way to find everything is to go on my website. It's the only place that lists everything I've ever released. Okay. So on the music drop down section, discography section of my website, ALYSSAJACEY.com, you can see everything from the very first single, The Longest Kiss in 2005, all the way through my latest album, Showing Up, which is, born a year ago next month. And I've taken this, like so many of the streaming stuff is off as well. So if you want my music, all of it, you actually have to contact me directly, whether it's through social media or you can fill out the form on the contact page of ALYSSAJACEY.com and say, I want your entire repertoire. And I'll go, okay, sweet. Give it to you, which is a great way of doing it because Apple Music, Spotify, all those streaming platforms, all those downloading platforms, they take such a large percentage of
the artist always loses.
We lose out on so much.
Horrible. Yeah.
So the few fans who have directly messaged me and said, I want these songs just straight from you. Thank you so much, because that really is what helps me keep these lights on and pay my mortgage.
And I'll give a reminder to the audience for Alyssa and myself we understand not everyone owns a CD player the way they used to, or they own a Blu-ray player. But for us, when you buy those albums or the DVDs at like full price, you have no idea how much that helps us. You have no idea because it comes directly to us.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Exactly.
Or a T-shirt. But like when you stream, we're not really getting anything.
Right. I mean, yeah, you might as well just message us and say, I like this song. But that's, we make 0.0000% of a stream. So downloading is always better than streaming, and direct to the source is even better than that. Question from Eric on how Christian, thank you for the follow. Space Owl, and thank you for everyone who's sending me the lights and the little cranes and stuff. You guys are awesome. Have you sold any to publishers yet to shop? The answer is no, but not by choice. If a publisher would like any of my songs, silver platter for you. I didn't used to have that attitude, though. I used to.
They could contact ALYSSAJACEY.com for that, right?
Yes. Yeah. I used to, let's pretend like this is one of my songs. I used to be like,
yeah,
you may not take it. But now I'm like, here's my firstborn. I don't care. Whatever's best for the listeners. If you like, I want my music to be anywhere that you want to hear it. And so if a publisher wants my songs, here you go.
Sweet. All right, we come to a new segment of the show that's been going on for a little while, and I think you're going to do great with this one. I call this part of the show 10 rounds, which is really just 10 questions. Some are music, some are film, some are pop culture. There's no wrong answer. It's just for the listeners to learn a little bit more about you, all right? So we're going to start off with music.
Okay.
Question number 1. What's your favorite venue to play at?
Okay. It still, even though I haven't been there in a few years, forever and always, the Coach House in San Juan Capistrano, California.
Sweet. Awesome. Awesome. All right. Now, you're not playing, but what would be your favorite venue to watch a show at? Any artist that you like?
Well, that depends, because I like more intimate settings than big old arenas and things like that. So
I'm here. Yeah.
Probably I play at City Winery here locally, and hopefully I'll be branching out to other City Winery locations. So something like a City Winery style of a venue, or the Coach House style, where it's 500, 700 seats, maybe 1,000 max. And I love that.
Sweet. All right.
I'm on the Average Superstar is who I'm talking to Lauren from Average Superstar to answer your question.
Average Superstar TV on YouTube, Spotify, Amazon, and iHeartRadio, all that stuff. But all right, cool. All right. Next one would be number 3 is if you could collaborate with any artist, too big, too small, who would you want to collaborate with?
I immediately I thought of Sarah Bareilles, but back when she first came out. Right now, because she's a little bit too Broadway for me. So Colby Calais crossed my mind. I've opened for Bruno Mars twice, and my biggest regret was not doing what we both said we were going to do. Prior to me going on, he and I were talking at soundcheck. By the way, I'm up here and I'm just a giant in comparison to him. I'm 5'9", and then I had heels on too. So I was like, such a sweet man, such a sweet guy. And we had talked about how I was just learning how to play the drums, and I was so excited that I could actually sing and play Come Together on the drums. He's like, oh, do you want to collaborate? You want to get on stage and you can drum and I'll sing? I'm like, yes. And we exchanged numbers, and we're talking in the green room. We're like, okay, we're going to do this. And then it just didn't happen. So big regret. So Bruno, we need to collab.
Yeah, Bruno, get to ALYSSA at ALYSSAJACEY.com, and you should collaborate with her.
That's right. That's right.
Who is your favorite artist or band?
Favorite artist or band? I mean, I hate this question because I love so many different styles of.
Well, then give a handful.
I mean, okay, so back in the Jewel, I mean, for sure, 1995, Pieces of You, just the old school Jewel. I love Sarah McLachlan, Sean Colvin, Colby Calais, Sarah Bareilles, of course. I love Chris Stapleton. I'm a new person, Nate Smith, country artist. Yeah, how about that?
Sweet. Who is in your eyes, who we've been paying attention to for a long time, but this seems to be the underrated band that you don't understand why everybody just doesn't hold so high?
Probably a handful of my friends, to be honest, because I like really look up to and am inspired by so many independent artists that people have no idea who they are. And I'm like, how the hell are you not like all the way up there? So my friends.
All right, cool. I could give you more than one, but unless you have one on this for this answer. What's your favorite album of all time?
Songs About Jane by Maroon 5 is one of my favorite albums of all time. There's an album, I'm forgetting the name of the album, but Aske Jacoby, Aske Jacoby. He is a Danish artist that I opened for at the Live at Heart Music Festival in Sweden, in Örebro, Sweden, in 2014 or 15. And I'm like obsessed with that album. I just can't remember the freaking name of it, but I could listen to it top to bottom and just love it.
Sweet. Awesome. All right. Flipping over into a different world.
Okay.
Who's your favorite? Flipping over into a different world now. Who's your favorite actor?
Oh my God. Frick, what's his freaking name? I can see his face right now. He's in Primal Fear. G starts with a G. What the shite? What is the name?
Primal Fear, huh?
Primal Fear. There's Laura Linney and Richard Gere and I'm
Again,
blanking.
Richard Gere,
Richard Gere, Laura Linney, and
Edward Norton.
oh, so okay, so yeah, Edward, so I have two favorites. So Edward Norton is one of them. Thank you. God, I could have thought about my own. So Edward Norton for sure, and then, God dang it, Giovanni Ribisi. Oh, that was gonna kill me.
Oh gosh, yeah, God, he's freaking without a doubt.
Edward Norton and Giovanni Ribisi, yeah.
Well, since Giovanni's in everything, like he's been in everything for like ever. I trace him back to like the Wonder Years of My Two Dads. Like he was like in everything. Cool. What's your favorite movie of all time?
Primal Fear. There's no question. Yeah, Primal Fear easily.
Sweet. All right. Suppose your time on the planet's coming to an end. I don't know what year that will be. What do you want to do? What's that one thing you want to do in music? Like that one particular goal. Like I know you got like a variety, but like what's that one thing you want before the dance is over?
I would love to host SNL, perform live on SNL and host it.
That's a good answer. I've never had that. No one's ever said that one yet. I like it. Cool. All right. And the very last to wrap this one up.
Okay.
Who is your favorite person from history, living or dead, that you're just so drawn to? They intrigue you. You always want to know more about them.
Well, do they have to be a famous person? Because I hate to be cliche, but
no. It's you. It's whatever you want.
My grandma, then, because she was everything. She had so much class and so much love and was such a driven, smart businesswoman. And it always made me feel like I was the most important thing in the world. And I could tell her anything. When my parents went through a divorce, she was the one I would call. I can smell her right now. I can hear her voice. I love her so much. And I lost her 1 month after I started singing. So she passed away in February of 2005. And she's still to this day is such a big part of my life. I think about her often.
Great answer. And not yet the way you just explained her, I could kind of see that trickling down to you with your work drive. Yeah, I could almost picture it as you were saying it. I was like, yeah, I can see that.
Thank you for that. And I wish that she could see who I am now, because before music, there was very little drive in me. I pursued my dance path, my dance career, but not even close to with the amount of like gumption, I suppose, as I have with music. And with school, I kind of just skated by. I got A's, B's, and C's. And for a while, I was the first string for soccer and volleyball and basketball. And then I kind of let that go by the wayside. And there's really so much in life that I've kind of skated by. And then with music, I don't know what happened, but I suppose it means that I met the passion I was supposed to meet. And it has taught me so much about business and drive and self-worth and the things that you can do when you really believe in yourself and you're relentless. The same things kind of like tied it back to the beginning. And my grandma, I know I have that in me from her, but it never really blossomed until music. And it'd be amazing if I believe that she somehow knows what I'm doing. I believe that.
I believe it too. That definitely completes 10 rounds. And I would say also, I want to thank you for giving me an hour of your life and being the 2-time champion of Average Superstar TV, the first repeat.
Thank you so much for having me again. Really, truly, this is awesome. Average Superstar TV, you guys on YouTube. You got to follow Lauren. And on Instagram and all the social medias that he's on, because he's a very
Spotify, Amazon, and iHeartRadio is another spot you could hit the subscribe button on. Alyssa, I know we keep plugging that website, but anything you want to plug right now, the floor is yours. Go for it.
Thank you, Lauren. So my 1-year anniversary for my album showing up is October 10th at City Winery in Nashville. And I am not only do I really want you all to be there for the anniversary show, but if you can't make it for some reason, maybe you don't live in Nashville or I don't know, you're doing something else. If you go to ALYSSAJACEY.com, there's only one show listed for my upcoming dates, and that's this show. There's a link for tickets, and I need to sell this show out, and I need to sell as many tickets as I can, because my manager and a lot of industry folks from all over the nation are actually coming to town for AIBA, which is a music conference, and I need to give tickets away. So if you want to help that whole thing happen, by all means, buy some tickets and then send me the email link that has the confirmation code, and I can give those tickets away, and they will be put to such great use, and it'd be such a massive help for me. And spreading the word as well, sharing the City Winery show on your Facebook or social medias. If you follow me, where is it? Right there? Is that where my name is?
Yep, sure. Do it.
Okay. So Alyssa Jacey official on Instagram, Alyssa Jacey on Facebook. Just hit the follows everywhere you can find me and spread the word for the show. And I would really love that so much. And don't forget to bring the crew and wear your blue. When you wear your blue outfits, I donate a portion of my ticket sales to the Alzheimer's Association, which is how I lost my grandma, which is why I do that. So please bring the crew and wear your blue, and I will have things like Love Is All You Need hats, Love Is All You Need tank tops, stickers, and more for merch stuff for you.
Wait, I hope everybody listening supports her. If you could be there, that'd be great. If not, check out her website. We're artists here, with all heart here, so supporting matters a lot.
Big
so
time.
With that, I thank you so much for being on the show for the second time, and I thank this audience for taking the time to check me out. Subscribe, please. YouTube, Spotify, Amazon, and iHeartRadio. And with that, I say that the party is over.